Hey friends, give this just a second here. I decided to do Chaplain's time just a little bit early tonight because my kids are not in the house right now, so I stand a chance at quiet. And I thought, I'm not sure if anyone is sitting around at 5 o'clock waiting for these Chaplain's times, and so I thought getting it done while I had the opportunity for quiet would be good for everyone after I had to hide out in the car last week. So it's good to see you all here. I just wanted to pop in and talk to you a little bit about today. This is in the church. If you went to church today, it's Christ the King Sunday, which is this weird feast day we do in the middle of the season. You know, it's like the season after Pentecost has just ended and we're about to start Advent next week, which is bonkers to me. I don't even know how that's possible. And we celebrate this day called Christ the King Sunday. And it's something that was started, a long time ago by the Catholic Church. And sometimes I think it's weird that we still do it today in 2021 in the Episcopal Church. Not every church recognizes it, but it's pretty typical that we recognize it in the readings, even if we don't talk about it being Christ the King Sunday. The readings are specific to Christ the King. And I think it was developed during a time where it was a little more normal to have royalty, right? Rulers in your life and in your culture. And that, of course, is not super relevant to us today, though I am, someone that loves to follow the British royal family, but we're not going to get into that today. So what happens on Christ the King Sunday is that we've been hearing all of these other stories about Jesus every Sunday in our lectionary and Jesus's ministry on earth. And we're just about to get into Advent where we're preparing for Jesus's birth. But on this day, all of a sudden, the gospel kind of pops up and we're at his crucifixion. And he's with Pontius Pilate. And Pontius Pilate is saying, "Are you the king of the Jews?" And he's saying, "You say so." And then finally, Jesus says to Pontius Pilate, "My kingdom is not of this world. If my kingdom was of this world, my people would be fighting for me. But my kingdom is not from here." And Pilate says, "So you are a king?" And he says, "No." He says, "You say that I am. I have come to testify to the truth." That's paraphrasing what the gospel passage said today. So it's this weird moment, right, where all of a sudden we're just rushed to this time where Jesus is with Pilate and they're having this interaction. And while Jesus doesn't definitively say, "I am the king," he just says, "My kingdom is not of this place." And so it's interesting. I was thinking about that passage. I was thinking about Christ the King Sunday at the end of last week when, the verdict came through for the Rittenhouse trial, and feels like yet another huge story and trial and incident in our life together in this country that is divisive and contentious and difficult. And I don't watch the news because it's not good for me, but I do read the news. And if I'm being really honest, I also read the comments about the news on social media, which is a thing that I just can't seem to stop myself from doing. And so, I'll pull up something, I'll see what someone's opinion is, and I go straight to the comments. I don't make the comments because I don't ever see that end well. But I read them. It's like this weird fascination. Like some of it is just that I want to see what people think. Although I wish that people could explain what they think in ways that were a little bit kinder. But I'm just always fascinated by everyone's differences of opinion. And with so many opportunities in our world today, unfortunately, for people to have opinions about stories and incidents and acts of violence that are so hard to bear witness to. There's lots of opinions about all of those things. And I struggle to know what the truth is. And I struggle to know what I think. But it's interesting, while I was reading all of that, all of the comments and all of the news this weekend, I was thinking also about this passage, this gospel passage. I was thinking about Jesus saying, "I am in this world, but I am not of this world." And as a Christian, I never know quite how to respond to these things either, it's hard to find the truth. But I always think, what does it mean to be in this world and not of this world? And how can I be part of bringing about God's healing action in this world around me, especially with something that happens in another city, in another state, at another time that I'm not part of? When we have these national incidents that are brought to our attention, I feel so powerless. It just, to me, shows the brokenness upon brokenness upon brokenness that we have in our country right now. And I look at it with despair, and I just feel so powerless. I don't know what to do. And so I just couldn't stop hearing Jesus's voice, being in the world and not of the world, coming to testify to the truth. And so for me, when I feel that powerless about something, when it feels that out of my control, I have to make it smaller. I have to figure out how I can live in the world, in my every interaction, and in the way I take in all of this information that I'm taking in. I have to watch my heart, right? And say, the way I'm taking this in right now, is it making me a bigger part of the problem and part of the division? Or am I being an agent for healing and for grace in this? Even just in the way I interact with the information that I come across. And so what I wanted to just say to you this week is, when we're faced with this kind of thing, when we're struggling to find the truth, when we're struggling to want the world, we want the world to be a better place and we don't know how to get there, we can start small with our every interaction, And Thanksgiving's coming. Does anybody know Thanksgiving is coming this week? And so we're all going to have an opportunity. The holidays are a great opportunity to decide whether or not you're going to be an agent of division or an agent of healing in your close context there. And so just kind of inviting this in, because the brokenness upon brokenness that exists out there, it starts somewhere, It starts in each of us and in our heart. And if we don't start paying attention and caring for our heart and for the people around us and the world around us in small ways, it grows, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and eventually does more and more damage. So start small this week. Think about how you can be in this world, but not of this world. How you can remember that Jesus calls us to testify to the truth. And I don't know what the truth is about a lot of things. I don't know what the truth is about most things. But I do believe the truth that I think most humans long for love and connection. We try to get there different ways. And we are often not actually all that good at connecting with one another right now. But I do believe that each of us longs for it. And I believe that God loves each one of us, even though it can be hard to see and believe that sometimes too. So, maybe in the conversations you have this week, you can tend to your heart in a new way and care for others in a new way. Think about the way that you are talking about the world around you, about your experience, about your opinion. Are you offering that in a way that is divisive or healing? And, maybe you're going to be in a Thanksgiving situation like I am, where you're going to be sitting at a table with a whole bunch of people who think just like you. But sometimes I say the ugliest things when I'm sitting at a table full of people that I know agree with me. And that still impacts our hearts, even if we think we're not doing any damage. If we're saying those things, we're doing damage to ourselves. We're doing damage to the world around us. So, my friends, I hope if you're taking in the news, you're being careful. You're watching your heart. You're finding God's truth in what you're doing. And then I hope when we are faced with these incidents in our world that show us the vast brokenness that exists out there, that you can start to bring healing to the world around you in the smallest circles, even just in your own internal life. Beginning with that healing and that love and that truth of God, and letting that be what ripples out of us, and not the contention and division So that's my invitation for you this week as we enter the holidays. And it's a tough time. Holidays are a tough time. And I'm never quite sure why that is, but it brings up some stuff in us. And even regardless of what's happening in the world, it's an easy time to feel a little bit off. So care for yourselves, care for your hearts this week. Please know that God loves you and God loves everyone else, and that we can continue to strive to be in the world, but not of the world. I'm looking for the truth. I love you all. Happy Thanksgiving. I'll see you next week like this for Chaplain's Time. And then the following week, you can join us at St. Augustine's Church on the URI campus in Kingston for our Camp on the Move service at 5 o'clock. So I hope you'll join us. And we're hoping to have an Advent service at camp. So stay tuned for more information about that. All right, everybody. Be well.